Hello, people. Let us talk about Windows. Not the computer Windows, but Windows in general. Okay, like the household Windows. So, how do you feel when you look at a very colorful window? While at my second job, I remember I was working for this client who would who would decorate windows. Like it's a company that decorates windows. And I was struck with the idea, like it was the first time ever I had a feeling that, oh my God, somebody goes out there and buys window. And I was struck by that feeling, you know, like when we buy a house or when we move somewhere, the windows are genuinely there. But suddenly I found out that the wind, like there are shops that sell windows, just windows. And it is so, so wonderful to think that something that has, always been out there, if we didn't know that it was such an exquisite thing. So, you know, I remember this another incident where I was working inside a library. I was reading a book, and it was in my college, and the college was a very old building. It was a very old British era building in Calcutta, and I was looking at this very beautiful dome shaped window in one of its walls, and it had this very colorful glass, and I was so happy looking at it. I had a very I it cheered me up. Now, have you noticed that how different windows, how many different kind of windows people have at their home? Like in my home, I have one, two, and three different kind of windows. The one that you can just slide away and put it back, and the other that you can open, and and there is the other that you can slide up and down. So these are the small things that light up our life, isn't it? That is what a window does. It lights up our lives, and it makes me feel so wonderful. you know like um I have heard, especially from the very busy cities out there, that there are people who who just can't afford a household with a proper window. And it is that, you know, it is that suffocating, it is that stuffy inside. But just imagine that if you are that lucky that you are living with a window in your household, isn't that amazing? You know? So I was wondering that how about I go on a tour, a walking tour, just looking at the windows. But then I noticed that, whenever I go out on the terrace, I see that there are so many windows out there. Okay. What kind of windows? The kind that are there, and you can see those closed windows at the backyard of the people's houses. Then if like right across your terrace you might have other terraces. The people, they have their windows closed, and the windows to the terrace are also closed, and you get to see how beautifully and differently shaped their windows are. Sometimes when the windows are open, you get to see that they have these beautiful curtains, inside. So this is what it is, you know. You have a feeling that, wow, like this window at either your own house or the household of somebody else has a different has a touch of a different world altogether. you know like there are some windows which has those wooden panels, like one after the other slanting wooden panels, and you can move them up and down, and it is one of the most beautiful things out there, one of the most beautiful looking windows. It lets out a very old world charm. And like I was I will find myself thinking that, wow, it feels so beautiful, like how would it feel if when the sunshine falls on the ground, and when the trees they murmur, and you get to hear these little birds and things from the window. It feels great, to be in that relaxed phase of your mind and be able to just observe how things are. Everything feels so much more relaxing when you think of life that way. Now, right when I go out, like I usually have some extra large windows at my home. And when I go out, I see that there is a household where they sell clothes, and there a lot of tailors work with this person. And like I can see that there is this, like they have this separate room. It is just made out of brick, and there is no plastering, there is no other color going on. They use that room just to keep the sewing machines and just to work. They have created this small little gaps in the bricks where from the air and the sunlight enters, and it makes me feel so nostalgic, thinking that maybe long long back people used to build home like that. And yeah, so when I get to observe things in this slow, unusual way, I feel happy that, wow, things that were developed long back, like when you think about it, that windows which were developed long back are still in function today. Like, how does it feel to, you know, have a window that was invented long back and is still functionable now and is still working? Like, of course, it has been modified many times, but we still need it. And probably these are the things that will be modified again and again. Okay, as we have different infrastructure, as we have these many talented people working towards what needs to be done with modern kind of architecture, we have different kind of windows. So when I some years back, I was in Darjeeling, and I was looking at, like, and we were stationed at this uh, cafe where, and it was a very old world cafe, and so different kind of windows exude different kind of ideas about what might be going on inside the household. Like, have you ever observed that, you know, if you have a particular kind of a window in your house, like I was talking about this cafe, you know, the cafe has a it had a very round shaped window that overlooked the hills. And I felt so happy, looking through those windows, eating the noodles and looking at those mountains. And it felt so beautiful. But what exactly is it that makes us human beings so much curious about the window? Is it just the fact that we are, like capable of looking at the inside of somebody else's household? No, I don't think so. But it is also a kind of longing, I think, that if only we could sit beside the window, keep our coffee cup on that windowsill, and enjoy life as is, and be happy, you know, and observe how the sun shines across the window, its reflection. It would be great if we can just carry on life like that. But soon, you know, some or the other responsibility does appear. The responsibility of, like doing something at home, the responsibility of maybe getting ahead in life, the responsibility of working on ourselves, etc., etc. So, what can we do when such beautiful opportunity to observe life appears and we get caught up with our own responsibility? Maybe we need to walk away from that space, maybe we need to lose weight, maybe we need to do this and do that. What can be done? Nothing can be done. You can choose to be a bit aloof from life itself from a very early stage of your existence, probably, and understand that if you get caught up in so many things in life, then you might not be able to be that happy and healthy. And you might not be able to live life energetically and stay curious, observe everything in life. So how not to get that caught up in life? Like I mentioned, you must work on yourself. Yes, you must work on yourself. Like, you have to take that walk, you have to sleep, you have to probably go to that place to work out. What about just standing still and observing the sunlight and observing the night sky and like doing mundane work? That is also doable. Isn't it amazing to lead that happy, peaceful life and just have this routine of observing things? I think it is amazing. Now, what to do when you are caught up in between responsibilities like making money, of course, doing things, getting things done, etc., etc., and leading a slow life? Now, just understand that maybe this whole idea of leading a slow life was something that invented by very busy people out there and very organized or probably very disorganized people out there, and you know exchanging ideas, philosophy about life, and still carrying on. And they decided one day that maybe we need to slow down and change our route in life. And maybe they just said it out loud that, we need to lead a slow life. It is as if they were in a vehicle and they decided that they needed to slow down. Now, why should we why should we not slow down? We should slow down because we care. We should slow down because we see that there is no place in hiding the fact that life has been extremely busy so far, and life has been a little rough, probably even sad, and unenjoyable to a great extent. And probably the only thing we can do is to stop, if not just slow down. So when you have to stop going on as you are, and you still cannot because you have some responsibilities, then check with yourself that, okay, I will probably earn a lot of money if I carry on with these responsibilities. But will I be that happy? I will have a lot of, probably I will have a different way of speaking if I take up that public speaking course. But if I don't do that course, I won't be able to speak in a particular way. And I will still do my job and I will still be happy. But what will happen to the fact that we have not observed anything around us? That we have not observed ourselves? How have we been so far? Are our voices okay? Are we okay doing what we are doing? No. We only care about things that are kind of out of our reach. To me, it seems like that. Like, we are leading such a tight knit and extremely organized life that there is nothing left to miss. There is nothing left to care for. We lead a life where we don't there is nothing left to be organized about. There is nothing left to be happy about or unhappy about. And also, let us talk about why we should not slow down. We should not slow down if we feel like there is a kind of a threat. We should not slow down if we feel like there is a kind of a sadness out there. We feel like we should slow down if there is a kind of a gap in observation. So, if that similar gap in observation lets us slow down and enjoy life a bit, then well, we must do that. Now, what is wrong with this kind of thinking? I can tell you that everything is wrong. I mean, just the thought that whether we should lead a slow life or not, everything is wrong with this kind of a thinking. But why? Maybe because human life is built around the pillars of observation. We exist to observe, and other things do exist because we observe. If we have money, if we can afford things, we can observe things, and whatever we are looking out at today, become a reality once we start to observe these things. Now, let's say you are out there walking and you are observing a very beautiful window out there. Okay, what is it that stops you from changing the window at your home? Money, lack of resources, lack of ideas, a lack of a space, etc. etc. So, how about you start earning a bit of money? you know. It just doesn't do anymore to be out there and observing the windows. How about you go out there and start earning good amount of money, and you observe that life is happy as is. You just need to change things. Like often, I have seen that there are people who go out on walks just to observe how the city is, just to observe, like there are these plants and there is this, that thing, and there is this very beautiful uh, little shop at the corner. How about you start to do things your way? Maybe you can even afford these things. But what if you are like me, who likes to sit around and observe things as it is? Then I feel it is absolutely okay. Like, people go to the market for window shopping, but you should be able to go, like, but the kind of person I am, to go out and I see how beautiful everything is. Like maybe the courtyard of a place, maybe the banner at a shop is beautiful. These things are what made are the things that our lives, our world, our entire existence are made up of. What is it that keeps us from being that observant? Are we that busy? Unless and until we are a little observant, things keep on going out of hand. Things keep on going out of our security, out of our mind, and eventually we are made to give up. What do I mean by this? I mean that when we leave an opportunity, when we leave something behind us, maybe an opportunity to observe something, maybe it might just be the windows, maybe an opportunity to think through something, maybe an opportunity to talk about something, we might be losing out on a lot of uh, chances of well being for us, for those around us, for ourselves, and for probably for everything. So, what can be done? Can we at all help ourselves in this world where we must do something and we must be cozy and chill about life? No, there are many things, like if you are talking about problems, like observe how people have their problems out there. There are many problems that we are suffering from at this point of life. It might be that we are scared of a sickness that we might go through. It might be a financial structure that we do not like anymore. It might be a financial uh, decision that we might have to make. It might be a lot of things. But what do we miss in this thing is ourselves. Missing to look at somebody's window or the walls at their garden is that we miss looking at ourselves. And we want to be ourselves all over again and stand by those windows. We want to just, like I have observed that when I want to look at a window, I want to stand there and I want to talk to a neighbor and be happy about life. And I want to be able to have a very long or very short chat with a neighbor through that window. And I want to be happy that I have spoken to someone. But what is it that we are not happy today? Why can't we just come to our window, be talkative to each other, be happy, be friendly? You know, any kind of window is beautiful when you get to observe two people talking behind it. Like just imagine that you are looking at a window and you are observing two people behind that window and speaking to each other, speaking to you. Isn't that happy? Isn't that really peaceful? It is. So, why do we often stop ourselves from observing the right things in life? Okay, like I want you people to take this thing very seriously. Why is it that we sometimes stop to observe the right things in life? Now, what is the right thing? The right things are the happier, peaceful, and more cheerful, prosperous things are the right things in life. It might be that instead of reading about a war that is ongoing, you read about something that will be helpful to you. It might be that instead of reading about a civilization that has uh, perished under the weather, you might read about what is going on in your area. It might be that instead of thinking about the cost of a living out there, you might be thinking about how you can add to your work so that you can afford that life. It might be that instead of thinking about how you might fail in an examination, you might have a different thing. What is completely out of bounds and what is completely undoable is to leave out on opportunity, leave out on discussion, leave out on happiness, and be unhappy all the time. If you find yourself that you have built something up and it is just not working for you, you must leave it and you must work on something else. How, irrespective of how different or how difficult it might appear to be. And if that is something that you like, you can very much afford to be energetic around it, looking forward to it, be happy about it, be smart, and be, like learn to enjoy life by observing things, by doing something. Because the power of observation is a huge power. Like when you look that how, okay, like you decide that okay, I am going to observe how two people are speaking to one another. It is a great thing, you know like just observe, like when you are going out, observe how people are speaking to one another, to you. Be curious. Now coming back to the idea of the windows, have you ever noticed that there are so many views out there that you get from the window? Like maybe there is one window that gets like where from you can see a very beautiful garden. Maybe there is a window where from you can see the just the road in front. From my window I can see a large tree. From my window I can see a huge building. These are the things that I like. And like I have developed this habit because of just observing the window. And I think that this is what it is that decides the difference between a good and a bad life. A good life lets us be happy with ourselves and also be happy with what is going on out there. And a bad life is something that makes us believe that nothing around us is happy. Everything is sad, everything is unhealthy, unhelpful. And eventually, we start to be cranky, jealous, unempathetic, cruel and unkind liars, and we lose out on everything that is life. And series of, shortcomings keep on happening to us. And eventually, we see that we can't function anymore because we have never been at peace with our surroundings. We have never been in peace with our uh, nature of being hopeful. We have never been at peace with our nature of being engaging. So, what is it that we can do? First of all, we can decide to decide. Like decide to decide that, okay, I've taken a decision that I will take a decision, and we can choose the right things in life. Like, okay, tell it to yourself that I have chosen that I will be happy with my inside, and I will also be happy with what is going on outside. Maybe that thing, maybe the window, maybe what is going on outside your window. Sometimes, when life gets very rough and dangerous, you should ask, like, today, whatever is going on outside my window, is it that happy? Ask, and then ask it to yourself that, okay, it is not that happy, but am I doing something to work on it? Am I doing something to make amends, to change how things are? I'm sure you will find a lot of answers if you look at life this way.